Anyway, always think you know everything. It's like you ever see Dave Chappelle, the first season of Dave Chappelle, he's like, hey, what's the square root of this apartment? He has to get do that. And they had their version of real world. Some people always think they know everything. Anyway, so I was working on this project on Unity. It's like a third person character controller. It's a basic third controller person character controller, move around or whatever. Third person moving, like turn around in 3D and pivot in 3D. And it was not running. And I entered the script in perfectly, exactly as it is on the tutorial. Went over it a dozen times, and it's perfectly right. And it was not running. And it's the last line of the script was not running. There were 5 errors. I crunched out 5 errors, and there's only one left, and that one I couldn't get rid of. So I look on Google to find an answer, and it takes me to Unity's forums, and Unity's forum is full of these obnoxious, obsessive, compulsive assholes, basically. So the last person that did ask had a problem. This exact same third-person tutorial from Brackies. They never answered this question. They just shit on them and said, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to code and yada yada." And here's the thing: these people are so arrogant, and it's not even earned because you're programming in Unity. Okay, you're making games in Unity. That means using somebody else's game engine, which is doing all the heavy lifting. All you're doing is writing a few little scripts. Unity does everything. It handles explosions, it handles physics, it handles particle systems, it handles movement, it handles shooting. You can even give you prefab control setups if you don't want to make your own control setup. I would rather learn more by doing it myself, so make my own. So I use the scripting for a third-person character controller. So come on, you're in no position to be on some PC developer high horse. Okay, you're not a real software engineer. A real software engineer would make an engine from scratch, okay, in Java, and use an event-based system in Java and completely make their own game engine and make their own game. Not using Unity, which just like by the numbers and it makes everything for you, and it has so many prefab assets that other people made that you buy at the Unity store. You're just putting Legos together for the most part. So you're not a real elite programmer if you work on Unity. Now, obviously, people who get arrogant and obnoxious on the forum, they're probably like 14. So they're really impressed with what they're doing, was not that impressive. They're strip kiddies, basically. So yeah, so actually, I got no help trying to get questions, ask questions to figure out why script wasn't working for me. And being that I entered in the code exactly right, I'm like, is there some issue of Unity with this version of Unity or some versions of Windows that don't work? Because I looked up the problem before when I was trying to crunch errors before, and it said if you don't update your Windows 10 all the way to the most up-to-date Windows update, some of your programs won't work in Unity, which is crap. Anyway, or if your Unity is not updated to the latest version, it might also work. So I had suspicious of it not being my fault, and it's like a software issue. PC never works properly; it's all do it yourself. But at the end of the day, they were unhelpful and just told me, "Oh, just read the code over again and be careful." Like, it had nothing to do with the code, you idiot. It has to do with Unity being messed up because what it was when I had a few errors before and I compiled it, or the game just crashed and Unity just crashed or whatever, with the error still active. If you leave the computer idle for too long, it just shuts off. So naturally, that's what I did. So I never could resolve the issues, and it shut off that way. So when you reload Unity, it asks you if you want to go into safe mode to fix the errors that were in the compile errors before. So basically, when it shut down while it wasn't fixed and half compiled, I think that whole compile, that whole compile or whatever, it's corrupted because going forward from there, even though I solved those errors and fixed all the syntax errors, I still couldn't get it to run because it's just corrupted. Because it's saying this error there, and that error is invalid. So that error goes again. They're telling me to cut off part of the code that's a crucial part of the code that makes sure it runs smoothly. And when you do cut that off, it causes like 7 more errors. So basically, I was stuck, and it was not my problem. It was Unity's problem. Unity has a problem if you close the program while program has a bunch of errors in it. The compile errors stay, even if you fix them. When you fix all the syntax errors, it just doesn't work. So, long story short, some people think they know everything on the forum, actually don't know shit. I'm talking to you, Kurt Becker. You knocks to the twat. Plays with his parents. See. This asshole is talking shit. He's so sure he knew what he's talking about. He did not know what he was talking about, okay? Oh, you'll be perfect. Oh, get your codes right. Use code tags. Like this guy was asking the question about how to get the third person thing working. And he listed his code, and this jerk is talking about, oh, use code tags. You're obsessive compulsive asshole. And look at this. And he's telling people how to type their programs and notation. But he writes like a moron. He uses all caps, which is all caps crap. If you use all caps, you're either a moron or you're a Trump supporter. Or both. Here, more all caps coming from this jackass. Step 2, step 1. It's really arrogant. This is the type of shit that gets people punched in the face if you try to talk to somebody like this in real life. That's why he's in a forum, and so he just like takes liberty talking shit to people on a forum, which he wouldn't have the nerve to do in real life. That's why, you know, these kind of people, you wouldn't want to work with these kind of people. It's better to be an indie developer and work like your friends or whatever, than work in an environment of, you know, obsessive-compulsive, defective mentality people like this. I mean, if you don't have an answer for the question, why write a wall of text? Okay, you had no intention of asking the question, but you think you want to contribute this wall of text to people? Nobody's reading this shit. I don't know, they're in their own little bubble. You asshole. Kurt Decker, you piece of shit. Kurt. You an asshole named Kurt. And he didn't know what he was talking about. And I got it to work the same day. I got home from work and just, you know, what I did was I just had to write the program over from scratch. Basically, all the components were there. And the components were only a few components. These are just placeholders. See these graphics. This red one's the enemy, and obviously the blue one's the character. So I made a little fake gun. Like I made it so it could shoot. I added some raycast to it from another program, another tutorial which teaches how to shoot. So I added the raycast part of the program to that, so it not just move around. You can always shoot and jump, make it interesting. And there you have it. Move around. And I didn't want to give up on it because, see, here's the thing. I had another project I was working on that was much simpler, okay? And it basically was just, the other program was just, I push WASD, and I can make the character move left, right, up, down, right? Just base up, down, left, right, and it's just a cube. This is more complicated because this is it rotating on an axis, and also the direction you're facing is based on the camera. You can move the camera around with the mouse and use WSAD to pick a direction of movement. Okay, so it's just like fully running around on 3D pace, 3D axis, and that's actually a hit spark right there. See that right there? When you pick it, you have some prefab hit sparks you use when I shoot something. So that's the metallic version. But for some reason, it makes a huge spear in the screen, you know, on the field. You can just make it invisible or whatever because you're only going to manifest that when you shoot something. And I made the terrain. It was just a flat plane before, but I looked at, you know, some of Bracky's tutorials on how to texture the ground. So I added some you know, terrain textures. Also, I expanded it a lot. It was really just maybe a 100 yard by 100 yard square. But they teach you how to expand it and make a huge level. And you can, you know, you can export this to Android. There's a app for Unity where you have Unity Mobile, and you basically run this program, compile it specifically for Android, and it mirrors the whole project that's on your PC on the Android phone, so you can make sure it works before you save it. It's pretty cool. You can get everything. You can even get like the little icon for a joystick that's on the mobile phone games. You can get that and download that asset to make your game a mobile game. So it's pretty cool. I'm just getting started. Anyway, so I could have been attached to Raycast, so my other program could shoot, but like why waste your effort putting on that? This one was way better. You know, the third person movement is way better than the also third person I had, but it was just up, down, left, right. It was moving in four directions, like kind of like Pac-Man with 3D. So it wasn't that impressive. This is way more impressive and way more useful when I like swap out this cylinder character for actual 3D model and animate it. So now that I got this part done, right, the basic part of it done, now I can get into Blender and start making some actual 3D models. I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of time making 3D models when I don't have the base program working. But now the base program is working, I'm free to spend some time in in Blender and make some cool characters. I can probably make a fighting game, because this is a special camera. There's a free look camera. You can set it anywhere. Right now I have it set over the character's shoulder, but you can have it over the left or on one side of the screen and looking into the foreground and have two characters fighting it out. That's probably what I'll do. I'm not going to be able to resist the urge to work on a fighting game if I start working on something. This is placeholder. Something just for the beginning. It's good to start a simple third-person action.